So thank you, Allie. Here's Allie. Thank you for coming all this way.
I'm going to use this mic. I was on the radio all day yesterday, so I have a sore throat. The thing that people need to know is that what we need to accomplish in 2016 is to get a board majority that will remove Chuck Huckleberry. Until and unless we do that, nothing is going to change. You're going to continue to see the shenanigans. You're going to continue to see tax increases. And I, for one, am sick of it. And that's why I ran for office, and that's why I've been exposing these people for what they're doing. And we have to continue doing that. And we're very, very lucky, fortunate to have Marla step up in District 4, and also Kim DeMarco in District 3. Kim lives over in Sarita. You know, a lot of people have a little bit of uncomfortableness with Ray Carroll. I can tell you, I would support Ray Carroll 100% if he would go along and do some fiscal conservative votes. And if I knew that he would vote to remove Chuck Huckleberry. He will not, I assure you, especially after this bond election and you watched him being the most vocal supervisor for Mr. Huckleberry to get his $1 billion bond package to dole out the bonds to his friends and cronies. And I think we all looked at those packages very deeply and understood what was going on. And it's going to come back, I'm afraid. So we have to make sure that we work very hard in this upcoming election. This is really close, so I'm going to actually pull this mic out so I can stand back and see it. I don't know how to make this any smaller. I don't know if anybody does. I tried, but it doesn't get any smaller. So first thing is, we did it. All of us together. It was the grassroots, and if you don't know, the Yes Committee spent $304,000, Chuck Huckleberry working on it full-time while he's getting paid by you, and driving a county vehicle, and as I said, Ray Carroll was advocating heavily for it. We spent $10,000 on the No Committee. It was the grassroots. It was the people in this community that are sick and tired of being ripped off. Might as well call it what it is. You've been ripped off and you're continuing to be ripped off. Your taxes go up every year, but you're getting nothing in return. And I can tell you the folks in my district, the roads are atrocious. It's got the most failed roads. They pay the most property taxes in District 1. They pay 33%. You folks are next with 23% of all the property taxes in Pima County. And I know you haven't seen the results. And District 1 certainly hasn't. And as I went around doing town halls ever since this got voted to move forward, I did vote no to move this even onto the ballot. The folks in my district, as I went out and talked to them and showed them and explained to them, when they tell you $17 a year, they are flat out lying. How do you feel about that, being lied to and deceived? And this was, in my opinion, I did report it to the Secretary of State because in the voter guide there was a deceiving calculation. They wouldn't do anything about it, but there was the statutorily required calculation that said for the $120,000 home it was going to be on average $47.53 for 27 years. But you were told $17, whatever the soup of the day was. And when you start lying to the taxpayers, and that is a blatant lie, it's time to go. And I hope people remember being lied to and they hold those accountable. This is huge. This is going to help propel us forward because the people know. They stood up and they spoke very loudly and very clearly. Board of Supervisors, you better start listening to us. We're not going to give you another dime until you start delivering. And nothing has been delivered in this community the way it should be. When you have a $1.1 billion budget and you can't even attend to the most basic needs, the roads, the core services in the community. Look at our parks. They build them, they fall apart. And unfortunately, I believe that's what was going to happen with these bond monies and, of course, all of the cronies at the trough there to get your money to give their Children jobs, I wanted to explain, one gentleman talked about Larry Hecker. I think he made multiple trips down here. He was the chair of the Bond Advisory Committee, advocating strongly yes. The Oro Valley Accelerator, which was on there, $15 million Oro Valley Accelerator. We looked up all of the nonprofits, and that nonprofit, BIOSA, the statutory agent on there was none other than Larry Hecker, and his son is a member. I can assure you the way that lease was going to be structured, it would be a Pima County owned facility, and then that nonprofit would probably use it for $1. We have a whole lot of those out there. You're paying for stuff that's being leased for $1, and all of the profits would have gone into the nonprofit, and huge salaries would be paid out. And if there were losses, guess where they would come back to? You. They want more money. So this is a huge win. I thank everybody, Lou, Angie, everybody who, Marla, spent a whole lot of time on this, Randy, everybody who helped work on this campaign. You made the difference. With $10,000, they spent us 30 to 1 and had all of these people in the can. Yeah, they spent $304,000. And big win for all of us, and we just got to move forward. Now we're on to 2016. It's already started. We've got candidates in, and we've got to move forward. Like I said, the voters rejected this soundly, and the message that I got, no more until the fiscal house is in order. And I hope the other supervisors get that. I've been reading some of the local newspapers and the reports, and it doesn't appear to me they did. They're in denial. They think it's because people don't understand. The economy is really recovering, but you just don't get it. Val does. Yeah, and there are articles all over. Please read them, and read them a couple of times, and you'll be quite stunned. They failed. If you, Proposition 425, is that clear? No. Oh, sure. Yeah, I kind of want to go back so I can see it.
I just didn't
Okay. Yay.
There it is better,
I was
yay.
wondering if my eyes were going.
Yeah, that's good, thank you.
Lay down on the ground.
These were the results as of about 7 o'clock last night. I know they still had more ballots to count. The road one failed by 7.31%. Look at the fail rates. This is sending a message, and I am thrilled that they failed like this, because I think people finally recognize, no, we're not going to be deceived anymore. And if you look at the vote counts, again, this isn't the finals, but the roads, it shows 7.31%. It's a huge number of voters against it. And the biggest one that failed was the Prop 427. I think I've got them identified here, which was the tourism promotion with the visitor center, $25 million visitor center. How many of you go to a visitor center when you travel? Don't you go to the internet? That's what I told the man when he came in. I go, why don't we save a lot of money and maybe spend $1,000 on a website or $5,000 on a website? Oh God, no. We've got to have employees, and you would have been paying for those employees too. So, great big win, and I'm absolutely thrilled. This is going to be the focus of a long time. It was the first bond election that's ever failed in Pima County. I don't know if you know that. They've always passed. So the voters are awake. And then I'm running in 2016, and I've kicked off my campaign. We have a lot more to accomplish, and I kind of want to go through some of the things we have done. I promised accountability and transparency, and the roads were my key things when I ran for election. Unfortunately, haven't been successful on the roads, but if we get this change in 2016, I assure you, we will be successful on the roads. I held the first ever budget study session in 2013, my first year in office. 6 months in, I asked the board if they would participate. They refused. Ray Carroll said, we're transparent enough, the voters don't need to know anymore. I held and I have that on video. I held the meeting. We had probably about 10 of my friends, because it was a real short fuse, because Chuck doesn't give you the budget, which is about this thick, so you don't have any time to analyze it. And he will not give me the spreadsheets, so we have to create our own. in my office to be able to do a variance analysis. And so it happened fast and furious, and we went through it, and we held a very, very detailed, it was about 4 hours long, the budget study session. Chuck and his staff were up there, and we just asked them all the questions. The results of that and the answers to the questions are up on my county website. I also got cameras in the boardroom. I don't know if you remember, but when I first got elected, I started, putting information up for you to see, and my website started crashing left and right. I was like, what's going on? Then it got a little more and more obvious, and then I was told that down at Rigo's, where they all go for lunch on Tuesday, that it was the big joke that they had destroyed my website yet again, and my staff was rebuilding that website every week. So I now have a .com website. I got sick of it. I went and bought my own domain, and my cards are back there. If you want to go look at it, we have videos of the votes, on the key votes. It's a very, you see who voted no, who voted yes, and then you can click on the video to see the discussion. I think you would be very interested in looking at those. It's a great place to go, and you just click on the item and you can see the video. And we clip the video so that you're not looking at the whole meeting video. My YouTube channel is the whole meeting video if you're interested in getting bored out of your skull. I do have a Facebook, YouTube channel, and I have been out in the media a lot because that's the only way you're going to get the information. And even with that, we're not getting it everywhere. We have a complicit media, the Red Star, deceiving. Actually, the guy printed about me at a celebration party that I was out dancing with a flag. What's his name? I wasn't dancing with a flag. I was in a restaurant. Patrick McNamara, who is the board reporter. He's been flat out lying. The way he's been reporting, he made it look like Sharon Bronson is the one that called the emergency meeting. Not true. I had to work on them really hard to force them to call in. And so don't believe what you read in the Red Star. It's not true. Again, and you probably heard about this, they were donating your tax dollars out of their budgets to charities, nonprofits. The part that never came out, I did send it to the Attorney General. Unfortunately, I've never heard back from them because I believe there was some activity that could possibly be prosecuted, because if you looked at the monies going to the nonprofits, they were coming right back to the supervisors. And we found $90,000, and it's what has been put online, and it was in the last 2 years. Sharon Bronson said they had been doing this for 20 years. So it's probably in the millions, and I think once I got down there, they got a little more cautious anyway. But this, they just started putting things online with Arizona Open Books, so that was, we were able to stop that. It took three motions. It took about 8 months from start to finish. Once we found it, put it on the board 3 times on the agenda, could not get them to agree. And Goldwater threatened to sue. I went to Goldwater and asked them for help because of what was going on. And fortunately, they agreed to take it on in a civil. And without their help, we wouldn't have a resolution on this. They'd still be giving away your tax dollars. I did get my own attorney to render an opinion also because the county attorney said it was legal. Goldwater was saying it wasn't legal, so I asked my attorney to do an opinion. And he said it was illegal, and it is illegal when you read the statutes. So it stopped in February of 14. It should have stopped immediately upon being exposed. Been holding town halls, HOA meetings, as I said. I was telling someone earlier, I've been on a road show during this whole bond election, and nights, weekends, just to try to get the word out because the media isn't doing their job. And then the wastewater rate increase, please go look at that vote. You'll see it. And you'll see no one asked a single question, none, except me. And I asked a lot of questions. I spent the whole weekend, and I got really educated on wastewater. And again, deception, memos, nothing is, everything's conflicting. And I started asking Huckleberry and the wastewater manager questions. I couldn't get a straight answer, and it was like almost painful because I don't like humiliating people. But it was absolutely obscene to listen to those folks just have no answers when they're asking you for a huge rate increase. And it amounts to, I think it was $23 million over a 2-year period.